Hey team, it's Dr. Maddie, and I am just going to show you very briefly how to plot a simple line graph in Google Sheets, um, if that's not something you're familiar with. And the way you do it, in whether you're using like Google Sheets or Numbers or Excel, it's all super similar, and so this should sort of translate over. Okay, I have a Google Sheets document up, and the only prep that I have done for this is that I have sort of today's hourly forecast of temperature in degrees Fahrenheit, degrees of freedom, if you will. And then I have time over here on the right. I'm not gonna lie, team, getting like proper hourly is a little obnoxious. You want to like click your cell and then go to format and number and then say that it's a time and then input your times from there. But that's a problem for another day. Notice that it thinks this is like 1899 at 10 a.m. But that's not the point. I just wanted to be able to plot versus time if we really wanted to. Okay. But to make our line graph, we're just going to go to insert, and I'm going to insert a chart. All right. So I've got this blank thing, and then the first thing I'm going to look at over on this chart editor is chart type. I don't want a column chart. That would be like a bar graph. I want a line graph. So I'm going to do a line chart. And my data range, I'm going to click this, select a data range, and I'm going to select A2. I'm going to hold down the Shift button and click on this A12, and that selects all of that data. And I'm going to say, okay, that's the data that I want to plot. Now, I'm going to add an x-axis. So I want to say, hey, I'm plotting temperature versus time. I want to see those hours pop up on my x-axis. So that's this thing, add the x-axis. And I'm once again going to select my data range. So I click here on B2. I hold down Shift and I select B12. And I'm going to say, okay, there we go. Now, why it's plotting all of that, all those labels say 12 a.m., I don't know. We'll figure that out in a second. But here we go. Let's keep going. Okay. Use column B as labels, treat labels as text. Let's do that. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. Okay. I do want to do some customization because this going all the way down to 0 makes it kind of hard to see these details in my line here. So I'm going to go over to customize. Let's go to that vertical axis. And I should be able to set a minimum value. Let's just, since we can see, just reading off my y-axis here, that nothing is smaller than 40 and nothing is bigger than 80, let's make our range just that like 40 to 80. Even if I didn't know exactly what all my numbers were, we can still do a nice, make this just look a little bit nicer. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and drop that down to 70. I think it'll look prettier. And this really is just, let's make that up to 50. Kind of how it makes you feel, right? This is just I want it to look pretty. Let's see. I like the way this looks. The only other thing I might do, grid lines and ticks. Let's add the minor grid lines. Oh, no, let's not do that. I was thinking of the... never mind. It's fine. Chart, title. Let's see. That's fine. Okay. Okay, I'm pretty happy with this. Now, let's say we wanted to do another line on top of this, right? Let's say we were plotting today's temperature and tomorrow's temperatures. So I'm just going to go ahead and make up tomorrow's temperatures. You can, by the way, click and drag your chart to a different spot in your sheet if you want to. So I'm going to say tomorrow will be exactly 2 degrees cooler than today at all times, just to make our life easier. Um, so I'm going to make a little formula. So I'm going to say that this equals this number, minus 2. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go ahead and copy this formula down. I know I've got that many data points. There we go. And luckily enough, to copy the formula down, you just grab that blue button, blue little circle on the lower right-hand corner and drag it down. And lo and behold, Excel and Sheets are smart enough to know that I want you to iterate forward. So this one is A2 minus 2. This is A3 minus 2, right? All the way down to A12 minus 2. Okay, so now we have more data. And then let's click back on our chart. And I'm going to add stuff to my chart. So I'm going to look for these 3 gray buttons, gray circles over on the upper right-hand side. Click that. I'm going to edit my chart. And in my series here, I'm going to add a series. So adding my series, I'm going to select the data range. And this time I'll type it in to show you a different way to do that. So you can just do what is that? Oh, excuse me. Right here, I want to use A14, and then you do a colon to, I think it's A24. Yeah, A24. And we'll say, okay. And it should, by default, plot it against the same x-axis. So plot it against our times. Look at that. Let me X out of this. Look at our beautiful chart. I love it. And now we have a legend. So, hey, what's this blue data? What's the red data? So we can go in and right click on it. Right click, double click. I'm going to double click on it. Yeah, double click on the little blue guy and say this is, here we go, today's temp. And then red guy, double click. This little text box appears. And I'll say, pretend temp. You can name it whatever you want, just so it's like legible. And honestly, I think this graph looks pretty nice. So yeah, that is a basic line plot here in Google Sheets. I hope that is helpful. Okay, have a great day. Enjoy making your plots, and I'll see you all later. Bye.